Hello everyone, I'm a year 2 student from SHMS. My name is Christy. Today I'm going to share my feeling about my first internship in Belgium. During this 6-month internship, I think my internship learning objects are going very well. First of all, the teamwork in my department cooperated very great. Although sometimes they speak French to me, but I can still understand a little and work with them without any problem. Second, the banquet setting. I totally know how exactly the banquet setting and how I serve during the banquet. During the past 6 months, maybe I had served for more than 20 banquets or important events like wedding, some brand and company activities. We also have different setup for different guests of parties. The categories will be different too. For example, wedding guests or VIP guests, we will use more fantasy categories. And also we will place a giant candles in the middle of the table at night. Like 4 months ago, Dior had a big event in our hotel, like the photos. And third, the knowledge of beverage and wine. In these last 3 months, I started to know more about the beverage. The supervisor taught me how to make some drinks and easy cocktail, and also now I can make the hot beverage without the machine. And that is the photo, which is my first handmade latte macchiato. And sometimes I also need to deliver the wine or champagne to the guest rooms. So when I deliver the wine, I would know the type of the wine and know more knowledge about the wine. Last one but not the least is the communication in French. That is the most coolest part in my internship. Honestly, when I came to this hotel and also came to Belgium, I expect everyone can speak maybe a little English, but when I start working the first day, I had already found that there were 3 people couldn't speak English in my department. And lately, I found that many customers can't speak English as well, and in the kitchen, all the chefs can't speak English also. That makes me go crazy because sometimes I have to talk to them about the order from the customers, but we can't communicate very well. But lately things start going better. I learned some words, some keywords in order to talk with them and make them easy to understand what I want to say. Also, my coworkers always try to help me with dishes. For example, if I ask them for something, I must ask in French. If not, they wouldn't respond to me, and I think that is the best way to learn and very interesting as well. And before I started my internship, I didn't take any training course in that hotel. I started to work directly on my first day, and in the first month I was like a baby. The employees needed to guide me all the time, and after 1 month I became more independent on my work. I could do my work alone without any help or guide. And in the middle of my internship, there were several new trainees work in our department too, and I started to teach them how to work like the way the employees taught me at the beginning. And in this process, I'm not only teaching them. I think I was also learning and gaining some experience because I kept doing this, which we said practice make perfect. In the future, for my second internship, I would like to stay in Switzerland, and if it's possible. Actually, at the beginning, I planned to do my first internship in Switzerland, but at that time, my French was totally a disaster, although now it's the same, but I still want to give it a try. And in my second academic semester, I know there will be a banquet that organized by the students. I totally have the faith about this because my first internship in La Plaza, I had already participated many big banquets or events in the hotel before, so I have confidence about this. And also the teamwork cooperate. I had real experience to work with the employees, not only the schoolmate in class, so I'm sure I can do very well. In the past 6-month internship, I think I'm doing good and everything goes very well. According to my work, I always obey my supervisor. Also, I will try my best to do everything, do it perfectly and take it seriously. and I wouldn't pursue the speed and ignore the quality of work. Talk about my strengths. I think it's the weight of my work. I wouldn't act like a girl. I would do the thing that other men can do also. For example, I would carry the heavy tables, chairs, hot dishes, etc. I wouldn't try to act like I'm weak just because I'm a girl. They also told me that they were very upset when I left because I really am a good worker, and I also surprised them because they've never worked with a Chinese before, which made them have a good impression on Chinese. And sometimes they're happy to have me in their department because I'm the only girl in our department, F&B, and I think I am an attentive girl. I remember once we prepared the mise en place, a whole table without bread knives, and nobody noticed but me. So I think it's a good thing to have a girl to work with those careless co-workers. But beside one thing, that is the language part. Although language part is my weakness, it can also consider as my strength too, I think. It makes me stand out from my other co-workers because, as I have mentioned before, some of my colleagues don't speak English, so when some foreigner guests such as British, Chinese, Korean, etc., I can speak to them in English, Chinese, and Korean also to solve their problem, and it did happen for several times. If you ask me what did I love to do during my internship, honestly, I love to do the welcome desk. I like to do this because during the greeting, some guests will talk to me because sometimes they feel strange. That why the Chinese girl will work in Belgium. They're curious about, can I speak French while I work at here and how's my work? And we talk a lot, so I feel like the guests become my friend. It's very good, I think. And the most difficult things I have during my internship is that I remember once I worked in the night shift for an important cocktail party, and at that night the manager was talking about the service station and the division of work, but he talked in French because all of the workers speak French, so he explained the content of work in French and at that time it is very embarrassing for me. But I didn't have a choice. All I can do was listen and try to understand. It's very hard for me sometimes. For my internship, I really enjoy it, but just one thing, I don't like work in a restaurant in my hotel. Although that restaurant is very fancy and the atmosphere is very good, but I think the whole workplace is very serious and formal. Every day I work at there, I felt stressed because the guests would ask you some question about the cooking method, about the dish, the wine, and if you couldn't answer, then there was like hanging a question mark on their face, like, why didn't you know the answer and you work here? That's very embarrassing. I think working in a hotel every day is full of challenge because we face different guests every day and you didn't know what situation were gonna happen. Every day is different and new, but I did learn a lot during those days. I remember once I served a table in a banquet, then I placed a meat dish in front of a lady, but then the lady told me that she's a vegetarian, and I asked the kitchen and the manager is that they didn't aware of they were a vegetarian, so they didn't prepare any vegetarian dish. So I told that lady to wait for a while and prepare a small dish of salad to her first. Honestly, I was very panicked at that time because I haven't had this unexpected situation in school, so I didn't know what exactly I should do. But fortunately, I finally find a way to solve the problem and make the guests feel good. As I've said, there were many challenges need me to face every day. I couldn't avoid them. I need to learn to deal with it and run through that, make it become a goal. The most challenging thing I met in this hotel was I work in the restaurant in my hotel. When I work in that restaurant, I always needed to know the ingredients of the dishes and also the knowledge of the wine because some of the guests may want to know about that. But actually, I didn't really know about them, and it's really hard for me to remember all of this. But I still try my best. It's really hard for me. To conclude, my first internship in Belgium really meant to me a lot. I learned many from my coworkers, from the hotel, and also from the guests. I really gained a lot of experience, especially this is my first time working in a foreign country. I will never forget this day, really unforgettable for me. And that's all about my internship sharing. Thank you for watching.